Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Outlanders. We're here in episode 21 back at the main base and we've got a lot of work to do today. Now you might note that I've got a shield in my left hand and my off hand and it does look a little bit smaller than normal. That is because I put on a couple of resource packs that onto my personal account and the smaller shield is one of them. It's one of the main reasons why I don't normally have a shield is because it's just too big and blocks up too much view. But with it on here, I can now see a lot. The other thing is in the nether, and you might not quite notice the difference in here, but if we go into a bigger part of the world, so we'll just come up to the right a bit here, and just punch a hole through here, you might note that there's a lot of lava, but there's also a lot less fog about. And that's also because I put on a no fog shader, so that means I can see everything or a lot more things than I normally would. In fact, I think I'm going to gather up this glowstone here because that's a mighty useful resource. And I was ever so close to dying there. I just need to be very careful because there's another one there, and thankfully that's the end of that one. Now I need to get into a hole and eat up, otherwise I will die out here with all my 9 levels. Anyhow, with all those admin stuff out of the way, it's time to turn to the projects that we've got for today. Now, one of the things I normally build every single season is a reasonably sized sorting system, although I've had various different types. Not sure why that just opened by itself. It seems that we've got a bit of a bug at the moment, but anyway, we've got quite a lot of stuff in here of varying types, and it is starting to get a little bit annoying that I have to dig through so much stuff just to find the resources that I need, especially wood resources and other resources similar to that. So with that in mind, we are going to build a pretty big storage system all the way on the bottom floor. Now, since we've got a lot of room, we need to decide where we're going to build this, how we're going to build this, and what kind of stuff we're going to be storing. Now, I believe in season 1, for those long-term viewers, we made a sorting system that sorted literally every item in the game, and that was laggy, to say the least. So what I'm thinking this time around is instead of trying to get every kind of item, which for the woods would be about 10 or 11 different things, I'm just going to store the log, the planks, and the stairs. And the slabs I'm not going to do because of our add-on that we do that has slabs into planks, so that is going to save us some time. Now, storage systems take a lot of they take a lot of chests and a lot of hoppers, which again require chests, which means a lot of wood. So I naturally find myself with a significant lack of wood. So I'm going to make myself quite a few jungle trees because I think they generally produce a little bit more wood than spruce, and slowly chop them down and get myself a lot more wood. So that's going to take probably a couple of minutes or a couple of hours. So let's get started on that now. It's been about half an hour and I've managed to get myself 9 stacks of chests. It's probably not going to be enough to complete all the storage system, but it's enough to get a start. Now, thankfully our iron farms have been working quite well, so let's go over and completely empty them and make quite a few hoppers, because we're going to need, I think it's 5 hoppers for every single chest or every single item that we want to store. So let's have a look in here, and that is a lot of iron. We are going to be quite rich in this stuff, which is going to be helpful indeed. And now with our chests and hoppers in hand, it's time to figure out exactly how we're going to do this thing now. Let's just get rid of all these slime and move on from that part. So I want the chests to go at roughly this height, I reckon, because the walkway is going to be at this height. So if we have, this is just a temporary one, but if we go like that, this is the general layout of how I want to do things. And then I want to have, for some of them, I want to have a shulker box pointing this way, pointing towards me. So all I have to do is just pick it up and go on. That means I have easy access to at least some of the stuff. That's likely going to be the same for the wood, for all the wood types, for all the stone types, or at least the full block stone types, and then I'm going to have, of course, the double chest on top for overflow storage. So that is something that is going to be a little bit more versatile and a little bit more easy to pick up. So when I go in here, I don't have to go click, 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 and go it out and take it all out. So let's get rid of this, because we need to work on the design of how this thing is going to look. Now, my loose plan is to take a little bit of inspiration from here while also changing up the color palettes. So I do sort of want there to be a little bit of a lip down, or not a lip, a stair down from here. So I need to get a couple of those, and then the chest will go at the same height as this, which will give a little bit of a problem. So we've got to figure out a little bit more. This is an example of what I'm looking at, although it's not quite fully finished. But if we just finish it up like this, I thought I saw a creeper there. If we finish it off like so, and then get rid of that, and find a shulker and put it in there, it'll look something like this. Now obviously we've got ourselves the pathway here. I've just temporarily used andesite here, and of course the sea lanterns there. But if we do something like this, we should be able to get ourselves a nice bit of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted by this slime. And this is the basic design of what I'm looking for. So a path like this, I'm going to change it up for every single one. So there will be a stone one going off in this direction, I reckon, a wood one going off, say, in this direction, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to bring the pathways in like this. So that means getting rid of this green prismarine. And they all meet into the center like so. So that is going to be a rather interesting design, I reckon. I'm not yet certain it's going to work, but we've got to try it just in case so it does work, and see if it does fit the path I'm thinking of doing. My biggest problem here is not necessarily going to be putting in all the redstone and everything, although that is going to be a little bit hard trying to figure out exactly where everything should go and turning corners and everything. But my biggest problem is going to be trying to figure out how I'm going to put a column or a frame around this, because I got the lip here, which does mean that something has to go here to start framing around it. And this is just a temporary one, but it's going to have to go something like that. And let's just stick in the rest of the temporary blocks, something like that. So this isn't the best looking, and definitely not going to be red. I think it's definitely not going to be out of granite, but something like this doesn't look the best in my opinion. It just doesn't look quite right. So I'm going to have to play around a little bit and see if I can figure out what looks best down here. Come up with a slightly different idea on how to do this. So I'm going to go with mostly wood types. So I'm going to have the wood log going all the way down here, and then the slant here, and these chests will go on top of the slant. Then the the shulker will go on top of these, and we're going to have the room somewhere along here to showcase exactly what we have available in these chests. Now what I'm thinking is, instead of having just the jungle, this one is, across all of them, I'm going to have different colors across so I can tell the difference. And that's going to start with the crimson one, because that's a rather new block, which I do want to include in the base at some point. So we don't want to use, we're trying to use as little as possible of these blocks as possible, because we don't exactly have a lot. You can see there I've been doing a little bit of growing of crimson stuff, but overall we're trying to use as little as possible to make sure we've got the available resources. So I'm not sure what I want to do for the other two segments, but if we can build this one up a little bit, that will get us started. It's been a little bit of time, and I've worked out, I think, the 4 colors I'm going to make this thing. I'm going to use the jungle wood along this path here, the crimson wood along here, the dark oak, or possibly spruce, but dark oak is what I've gone for, down here, and the warped wood down here. So I think that's going to work. I did try with spruce and a couple of other colors down here, because I didn't particularly want cyan as it mixes with this, but I think that's going to work. So we can have perhaps woods down here, stones down here, nether stuff down here, and something else down here as a general rule. I'm still trying to work out exactly what's going to go where. And as you can see, I've started to work on some of the flooring of these parts. I've decided to go with the, what's this, the warped stem, I think. What is it? Come on, little thing. It is a warped block, and of course we've got the crimson warped block over here. Now, I'm not entirely sure what I can do with these, because there aren't any warped blocks of this colour or of here. But what I'm thinking is I want a slightly different colour scheme to these two, and spruce wood on this side, and probably oak on the other side will give it a slightly different texture and not make it all the same. So if I pop up and get myself some spruce wood and some oak wood, that should do pretty well. And with the oak wood installed here and the spruce wood on the other side, I think that looks pretty reasonable. We've got a bit of a colour balance between the dark oak and the spruce, and of course lots and lots of slime, which I really should actually deal with because of a massive lot of slime I'm actually getting. Let me just deal with all this stuff, and I'm going to have to deal with more, aren't I? Anyway, as I was saying, I think it leaves a good contrast between the two bits, the red here and the red in the middle as well, and the two light browns here, the cyans over here, or the turquoise, and the two browns over here as well. So that looks pretty good. Then in the middle, to make it a nice conjoined area, I've done just a one block on the left hand side, so it goes all the way around on each side. So if you're coming through, that looks pretty good indeed. Now, the next biggest topic of our storage system is to try and figure out how we can link these. Oh wait, that's not what I want to do. How we link this to this one, and then this one to this far one over here, and of course this far one over here into here, and basically a large circle. Now it can't be circular because that's going to really mess with the way we do the storage system, but it needs to be also a little bit way out. Whoops. So we need 5 blocks here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 here. So we need to make sure that we've got enough room to put chests if we had so we've got the thing here going around. We need to have enough room to have the chest and their bits heading out this way as well. So something following this curve up here is probably best, just in case. And it does mean that we're going to have a little bit of unusable space where the two paths connect. Now, my next problem is trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to build these parts of the storage system, because I do want it to curve around or go in straight lines, I'm not sure which, and meet up with another straight line from here. So what I'm thinking of is that the outside ones, or the inside ones here, these main arterials, are going to be nice and flush, so that these ones will come straight up to here, or maybe one block back with my axe. There it is. So one block back from here, and then we have our redstone bits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then have a, what do you call it, this one here, and some kind of decoration here to try and hide the redstone. And then from here we've got ourselves some bits. I'm not entirely sure how large we're going to be able to go. On this side, I'm going to have to figure out exactly where these two are going to meet, because where these two meet, we're going to have another one of these 5 bits, or these hidden segments. So the ones on this side might actually end up being very small indeed. Then as well, I've also got to work out an input chest or input segment for this, and that is probably going to have to go in one of these segments here. So I might need to cut out a bit, say here, and this one goes all the way around at least the brown segment of the wall of the sorting system. So there's quite a bit to work out. The other thought I just had as well is that I don't have any kind of sorting system inside these bits. So behind all this redstone, there isn't any stuff. So from here, I could have, from around here, I'd have an internal wall going in here, which of course backs onto that stuff, and then I have some other kinds of things back here. So I've still got, for example, to build myself a cooker or a smelting array, because we've still got a lot of fish up there which need cooking, and that means a super smelter down here and some other bits. So there's quite a bit yet to think about. But if I'm going to do a super smelter, if I'm going to do that, that actually means that this part of the construction is a little bit easier. So if I just bring like this up and build this up like that and do this here, that means I've got a lot simpler to build here. So get rid of that there. I'm gonna have to repair my accent a little bit. And then that also makes this side a lot easier in that I just need to not do that because I think that's going to be a little bit claustrophobic. We should probably go back a bit, but yes, we've got the idea, we've got plans here which should look good. Because the other thing I want is that all this brown section, at least, is all one kind of materials. So it's all, for example, all dirt or all stones or all that kind of stuff. So what it should do is come all the way up, cycle on top of this, and then come across to here and end here or start here. That's the thing to be decided. So actually this is going to work a lot better than I thought it would, because that means the red segment can be all one thing and the cyan segment can be all one thing, and so on and so forth. This is actually going to work a lot better than I thought it would. Now that I've figured out how I'm going to do the sorting, it's probably time to figure out where these things are going to go, and because I also want to fit in a shulker unloader, or at the very least a place to put the stuff in. So if we just get rid of this for a second, and you can see there's 4 stones in my inventory, we're going to have a little bit of a try and see. So if we have 2 for granite, or whatever that is, 2 for diorite, 2 for granite, 2 for andesite, and 2 for cobble, and that still leaves quite a bit of room. Then we've got dirt to go, sand as well, sandstone. There's quite a bit to go actually. I'm wondering if I've made a huge mistake here. So anyway, let's get some dirt. Dirt. I'm sure I've got some. There we go. Oh, and regular stone. That's another one I forgot. So regular stone's going to have to go there. And a few of that. There's a stone, dirt. This might take a little bit more thinking time. I've been thinking a little bit on how to get the stuff into the sorting system, and I think I've come up with a solution, and that is namely to use these little gaps that we've got here. So what will happen is very likely there's going to be a chest or a shulker box unloader here, and then we're going to have hoppers going into a dispenser of sorts, or a dispenser array. So that dispenser array needs to go up like so, and across here. So that will need to go at this height. So I need to get rid of that one, I think, and figure out a dispenser lifter. I forgot to record a clip once again, but I've got at least the elevator done. So we've got a pretty simple elevator. We just hop into here, it goes all the way up and into our sorting system, which we still need to build. Now I do need to take care that this does not interfere with this. The redstone here doesn't interfere with this, and I think if I cover it up like this, it should remain safe, I hope. I just need to test it to make sure it goes in. It should go into this first chest here. So if we pop in, let's see, 6 obsidian, and wait here, there's a hopper in there, and wait a bit. It doesn't go in? That's right, I haven't put in the rest of the redstone, which is, of course, droppers, and no, observers, and a few other bits. I'm a bit of a silly billy there. Okay, now that I've got the observers in, this thing should work. So, if I put in the, let's see, 4 andesite, I don't want it to go heap in. We've got 1 grey concrete, because we did have a little bit of an accident here with a creeper. But if we have a look at this chest, we should see the 4 andesite, and yes, that has worked. So we're going to have to put in all the items to make sure this filters correctly, and we're going to have a nice and successful storage system. But after another episode of just lots and lots of building and quite a few mistakes, we've finished today's episode. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Goodbye.